Oh, I didn't see you there. I didn't have anything planned.
Howdy, we are taking a little break from lenses and coming back to keyboards again. Today, we're taking a look at Royal Kludge's new budget 75% keyboard, the R75 Premium. You ever stutter on the second line? The R75 Premium Edition. Starting off with a disclosure, although this video is not sponsored, RK did send me this product. They don't get to review the video before you do, and I'm free to say whatever I want. Also make sure you're subscribed to my channel and stay tuned for future reviews. At the time of me writing this, 98.8% of you aren't subscribed, which seems like an achievement on its own, but let's try to get that number lower, and you can help by subscribing. With that out of the way, let's get started with the unboxing. The packaging is simple, pretty much identical to the KZ and Epamaker packages. The accessories include a keyboard, and in this small compartment is the main set of products for the day. There is a basic USB-A and USB-C cable, a keycap and switch combo puller, 2 keycaps for insert and end, and 4 spare switches. That's right, this is a hot swappable pre-built. Let's take a look at what else comes with the cable and the puller. It is the R75. This is a 65% hot swappable pre-built mechanical keyboard. That's right, $65, or did I say 65 cents earlier? Yes, $65. And right now, RK has a coupon which will save you 20% upon checkout. The link for that is in the description. There is one catch though, and we'll get to that very shortly. This one is the premium blue and purple design with their silver switch pro linear switches. That's a lot of switches in one phrase. These have an operating force of 45 grams plus or minus 10 grams with a relatively short treble at 3.4 millimeters. They have a beige bottom housing with a clear top housing with a gray box-ish stem. They are linear as absolute AF, but they are incredibly smooth with no noticeable ping or scratch. Impressive for a budget keyboard. The R75 Premium model also comes in green with MDA profile keycaps. One thing I've missed while using the Novelkeys NK87 in the KZ was the knob, and sure enough, this one has one made of aluminum. To my taste, it does feel a bit light though, and either it's too big or just in a weird spot because my thumb and fat fingies hit the adjacent keys, making it a bit difficult to turn. Either way, a knob is always fun to have, and of course, you can click it too. Allegedly, it is removable, but I could not for the life of me figure out how to get enough grip, so I just gave up. I really like the colors of the keycaps and is a comforting color palette. They are double shot PBT in material with a cherry profile, which I hadn't used at all since getting the MT3 Noctua keycaps. The MT3s just felt so much nicer when typing, but for some reason these cherry ones are a bit easier to type. I think it might be the typing angle, but we'll go over that shortly as well. After dailying this for a little bit, I do find them a bit hard to see in the dark because of the low contrast between the blue text and the white base color. But this and the green are part of the premium. I can't say that. Premium. But this and the green part, green, is $5 more than the standard black or white one. I give up. Speaking of being able to see, there's construction going on. That's not construction. That's someone pushing like a trash bin or something. Speaking of being able to see, this keyboard is equipped with RGB. There are 16 different lighting modes that you can switch between and customize using keybinds built into the keyboard. These lights can be controlled using the RK software, which was slow as hell to download for some reason, but once it's done installing, it's pretty straightforward and the layout is identical to the KZ one. I do wish this was also VIA and QMK compatible though, since it would have reduced the need to install extra software, and the layout and customizability is just better in every way. The LEDs and switches are north facing, so if you did want to use backlit keycaps, you absolutely can. These switches do not have any kind of interference with these cherry keycaps, so use whatever keycaps you want on this board and you'll probably have no problems. Anyway, now that we're onto electronics related stuff, let's get into the elephant in the room. The African savanna or bush elephant can grow up to 3 meters tall and weigh an average of 6 metric tons. Or sorry, that's the elephant that's not in the room. The elephant in the room is that this is a wired keyboard. Yes, you do have to plug it in, which could explain the relatively cheap price. At least the wired connection is USB-C, which I'm so glad is becoming a standard. Turning this over to the back, there are flippy feet with 2 stages, 3 including completely down.
Jesus Christ.
No screws are visible, which after seeing the KZ board gave me a bit of anxiety, but apparently this board is only put together by plastic clips. Let's talk layout. This is a 75% keyboard, but it's the first of the specific layout I've used so far. The Epamaker TH80 Pro had the special purpose keys. By the way, thank you NAD for the comment on my KZ video, separated and arrow keys not separated. The KZ K75 Pro had the special purpose keys and arrow keys separated, and this one has neither separated. Instead of using 1U Alt, function and control keys on the right though, they used 1.25U Alt and function keys and completely got rid of the right control key. It throws me off sometimes because I do, although very rarely, actually use the right control key. It's a bit weird to get used to, but it is manageable. I also prefer the delete key being in the normal spot for a delete key, like on a TKO or a full size, so I swapped the home and delete keys in the RK software. Let's take a listen to what it sounds like stock. I've never really liked clack, but this is a pleasing and very comfortable clack, if that makes any sense. The springs feel like they have just the right amount of weight, and bottoming out is comfy, and honestly is well beyond my expectations for a $65 keyboard. The switches are surprisingly smooth, and I feel or hear zero scratching whatsoever, unlike a lot of switches that come installed in pre-built keyboards. The stabilizers are also impressive, having no noticeable rattle, except for a negligible amount on the left shift. So let's dive into how the sound and feel is possible. First of all, the body is made out of some sort of plastic. Compared to an all aluminum case, these tend to give out a much hollower sound if not damped sufficiently, or a thicker, deeper sound if there's a lot of foam or damping within. The R75 has more of a muted sound, sort of like the stock K75 because of the amount of damping there is. I couldn't figure out how to open up the thing when I was shooting, but apparently there are a bunch of clips around the top and bottom case. I'm glad there weren't any screws hidden under the rubber feet like the K75. Let's quickly remove everything so we can take a look underneath. Apparently I forgot to zoom back in after removing the keycaps, but I also forgot about the switches, so let's remove those as well. Allegedly, the Amazon listing says at the bottom is a Silica Pad Plus, which I assume they mean silicone as they're completely different things. A layer of foam on top of that, PE foam on the PCB, and pour-on foam between the plate and the PCB. The poly something plate, which also acts as a diffuser for the RGB, and PCB are slotted to add some flex, acting as a cushion when typing. The plate is mounted to the chassis by what looks and feels like some sort of silicone gasket, but it is significantly squishier than say the KZ. All of these squishy materials result in a lot of board flex, damping the sounds, giving a softer bottoming out feel. Now what would something dumb that I would do in this situation? The keyboard has plenty of flex and has a cushiony typing experience. Replace them with something that has a hard bottom out. The switches we'll be replacing these with today is something I've had since like March but never presented on the channel. I introduced to you pastrami. Or sorry, wrong. They got the Tech C Carrot switches. These are honestly not the most comfortable switches to type on, but they are the most fun switches I've used so far. The switches have an orange PME housing with a turquoise or mint palm stem. I modded every single one of these with Tech C's 2-stage 58-gram springs, which has a more of a poppy, almost tactile feel. The characteristic I really liked about the switch when I used something similar on a switch tester was the hard bottoming feel. Something about that just felt super satisfying. Now these have an identical travel as the silvers, but again, the springs completely change the way these switches feel. The carrots have an ever so slightly deeper sound as well. These are supposed to be pre-lubed and the materials allegedly lubricate themselves as you use them, but they have a very slight bit more scratch than the silver switches. The latter of which I don't see anywhere that they are lubed, so props for RK for providing switches that are excellent right out of the box. Neither switch has any pinging, which is great too. One downside of the carrot is, if you are into crazy RGB lighting, these do tint the lights orange because of their orange housing, where the stock ones will not since they are clear. I feel a blue or light yellow backlighting would work best with this color combination, but I'm just gonna stick with orange since it's the easiest on my eyes personally. Anyway, I don't know how planning carrots work, so let's just spawn them in real quick and they are installed. Usually I would get new keycaps, but I really like these, and even if I did get new ones, they wouldn't arrive on time, so they're just going back on The sound test will be at the very end. I'm surprised at myself that I barely modded this thing and almost doesn't even need mods. It's just that good out of the box. Wired versus wireless isn't a huge deal breaker for me since the majority of higher end enthusiast keyboards are wired anyway, and even wireless keyboards need to be plugged in and charged eventually. You do have to take an extra cable with you if you do want to travel with this thing. An unaffiliated Amazon link to the product is in the description, and that has a 20% off coupon applied at checkout. I don't have intel on when that coupon expires, but I would assume super soon. So if you're looking for a last minute Christmas gift, this might be the perfect gift for a family or friend who is desperately in need of an upgrade without breaking a bank. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment if you think you'll be getting this board. The sound test will be right after this, and I will see you in the next video. Stay safe, don't die, and have an awesome holiday. See ya.